When we think about how producers, if we just focus on producers for a second, how they're going to win today,
Right.
they have got to establish a personal brand.
Absolutely.
So Kareem, you and I are coming together in 2023 with Black and White Truth around benefit advising and to bring a new level of training to producers, leadership in the industry. And let's talk about some of the problems we see today. One of them being just the outdated training in this industry when it comes to training producers and leaders. What do you think about that?
Well, absolutely, Andy. I mean, I've been in this business now 25 years, and I'm still amazed to go into agencies and into practices where they're doing the exact same thing that I was doing 25 years ago. And that's simply picking up the phone, 100 dials a day, going out and saying, hey, let's knock on doors. And I'm amazed to think that they think that they're going to get different results by doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember I was giving a keynote talk a few months back in Salt Lake City, and I had a room full of insurance professionals. And I looked to my left, and I looked at a gentleman who's probably somewhere between 65 and 70, and I asked him, how long have you been in business? And he said, 45 years.
Oh.
And I asked him how he was trained. And he said, I was given a phone book, told to cold call and go pound the pavement. And I turned my attention to a younger woman in the audience who I think was probably around 30.
Okay.
And I asked her how long she had been in the industry, and she said 3 years. And I said, how are you trained? She gave the same answer as him.
Amazing.
That's the problem, is training has not changed. So how do we fix it?
Well, I think that we're talking about branding. What does a personal brand look like for an individual inside of your agency and somebody in your organization? And with that brand, allowing them to have their authentic selves when they're going out to represent you.
Yeah, I think of a quote from a friend of mine, Seth Denson, who said, every agency must understand that they rent the brand of the producer. The producer does not rent your logo. And when we think about how producers, if we just focus on producers for a second, how they're going to win today,
Right.
they have got to establish a personal brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's been your messaging, and we continue to take that message across the country and looking at what does brand recognition look like for an individual producer.
And I think, but here's the key. It's easy to think all of this falls on the agency,
Correct.
on the insurance company, the people who train these producers, right?
Correct.
But the producers aren't off the hook here. You know, you and I were talking offline about this whole college transfer portal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then if you follow the transfer portal right now in college football, it blows me away how many times these kids transfer, right? They go to a school, they lose the job, they don't win the job, and instead of getting better to win the job, they just go transfer. And the problem is they transfer from one school to the next, but they never change.
Well,
Talk about that.
and I'll tell you, I've been saying this for years to producers, is that you are the same you no matter where you take you unless you change you. And so when we think about there's some personal accountability that has to take place as a producer in order for us to change and be successful.
So here's how Kareem and I want to play our part. If you are an independent agency, you're a large insurance company, doesn't matter. Your producers have to be trained to win today. And guess what? Things have changed. And so Kareem and I are going to put the work in to help your team get better. How are we going to do that, Kareem?
Well, if you're an agency owner, if you're an independent agency, and you're looking for some training for your independent representatives, why don't you reach out to Andy and myself on LinkedIn and let us come out and do a workshop for you. Let us come out and share with you ways that are changing the industry and how do we go out and secure more business. More business equals more profitability.
At a time when everything's changing, the one thing that has to change the most is how you train your people. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel and share with your friends so that we can continue our mission with sharing the black and white truth.